everyone, it's Bob McCraney with This Month in Realty, and I am so excited to have back Jamie Harnish. Now, Jamie is with Bosley Real Estate in Toronto, Ontario. Jamie, tell us about the market in Toronto.
Hi, Bob. Thank you very much for having me. The market is still very robust for sellers, so still very seller friendly, but there have been some changes. But for the most part, like I said, the numbers are still very much favorable to sellers for sure.
Okay, so is there anything in your market giving buyers a glimmer of hope?
Yeah, a little bit. So there's been some changes. First of all, we're still dealing with some COVID stuff here in Toronto, and we had a stay-at-home order issued. I forget now because it's basically just been one long stay-at-home order for a number of months now. It's not like you guys down in Texas, you Cowboys, but the most recent stay-at-home order, and with numbers rising, and I think a little bit more of information coming out of hospitals showing that they were kind of like, a little bit overwhelmed, has kind of slowed things or maybe calmed things down in the housing market a little bit. But also for the third consecutive month now, so February to March to April, we've seen declines in the sales to new listing ratio, and which is typically what I use as the demand metric, and then the supply metric, which is months of inventory, which is kind of almost like a sales rate, has increased for 3 consecutive months now. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, the numbers are still very kind of like seller friendly. But in February and March, if you were a buyer, if you were bidding on anything, there was a minimum of 6 to 8 other buyers kind of thing. And now those numbers have come down. There are also properties that are, I don't know how prevalent this is in your market, but in our market, taking a property that's probably worth $1 million, you list it at $799, let's say, and then host an offer night kind of a week later. That's very, very common in the Toronto market. It has been for years. But we're now seeing properties that are, listed at whatever number, intentionally underpriced, and then their offer night kind of comes and goes, and it doesn't sell on the offer night, and then either the same day or next they basically readjust the price to be in line with the seller's expectations, and then are willing to look at offers anytime. So that's another indication of a little bit of a change where buyers are maybe getting a little bit tired of the game, if you will, and are willing to kind of like let a place go, see what a seller's kind of intention is, see if there's maybe an opportunity to not have to compete with a dozen other people for a place, and maybe just kind of be the lone buyer.
Interesting. So you mentioned something earlier, and I want to ask about this. Why is comparing April of 2021? Why is it a bad idea to compare it to April of 2020? Why can't we look year over year for April?
Yeah, I think comparing year over year in kind of any month is troublesome at best, but there's not really a whole lot else that we can do. It's not like the shoe market where you can say like this Nike sneaker sold a certain number in March, and then how many did they sell in April, and it's the exact same product. You're always dealing with different houses. Every house is unique, and there are so many other factors that affect housing prices and stuff. So it's, like I said, troublesome at best. But April of 2020 was when, I'll at least speak for Canada and Ontario, certainly the province that Toronto is in, was like peak fear of kind of what was going on with COVID. The housing market ground to a halt in April of 2020. And so the number of listings completely slowed down and just like dropped off a cliff. Buyer activity really, really dropped off. So when you look at April of 2020's numbers, everything is like deflated, and I don't want to say artificially, but it's just like not a typical like April month. And then you look at April of this year, and it's a typical very, very busy April. So when you make that year over year comparison, you're going to see new listings up. I think the number was something like 240% or something like that. And so like, yes, when you make that straight comparison, the new listings are up 240%, but it's complete apples to oranges. It makes no sense. Prices, maybe you could compare, but it's a much smaller sample size in 2020 compared to the sample size in 2021. But number of new listings and number of sales, people are going to see on the media like, oh, sales up 4 bajillion %, and like number of new listings up 8 gazillion%, and like it doesn't mean anything. It's nothing.
Gotcha.
But it makes for a great media headline, and people really get caught up on that. So I guess that's kind of my public service announcement, is to not get too wrapped up into the stuff that you'll see in the media, especially this time of year.
That makes perfect sense. So Jamie, how would somebody contact you?
So whatever platform they're viewing this video, they can send me a DM. That would be no problem. I'm very accessible on social media. My cell phone number, which I'm happy to give out, is 416-428-8892. That's 416-428-8892. Or just honestly Google me. I've got over 50 5-star ratings. I pop right up when you Google Jamie Harnish, and very easily found online.
Okay, great. Tune in next month to hear more from Jamie and other real estate experts on This Month in Realty, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.
Thanks, bud.